Alright, hello everyone, this is eCake. We're going to be going through this PSO 2026 report that I wrote. These are all the topics we're going to cover right here. Mainly focusing on the next update section and the league. We'll kind of skim through the rest of it, but I mostly I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about with the next update. I figure that's the most important. Alright, so first up, we all know that PSO had a major decline, so we're going to be walking through that. Uh, right here. Yeah, PSO definitely peaked. The first release of V3 was when I believe we hit a million visits. That's when we definitely had the most public lobbies going. I think that was the best time for PSO. That or the original release of V1. That was definitely the best when you had the most people playing the game. Reasons for the death of PSO. Lack of updates is definitely the biggest one. There was, I think, just two updates for V3, and that was about it. And the reason for that was, well, I didn't want to work on the game. I lost a lot of interest in it, and I was also running the league for it, which took a lot of the time. Because it's hard to run the whole league, which running the league is like a daily thing to do. A lot of different stuff comes up with that, and then having time to work on the game is also difficult. Lack of replayability. This is more with the gameplay, but really when you load into PSO, all you can do is just go play a public match and then you don't get anything, you don't progress anything, you kind of just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And the only thing that's kind of like progression is the rank system, but that is very lackluster and there's not a whole lot of content there. So I think if PSO didn't have the league, like I feel like no one would play the game because it's just not that interesting after a while. Like you can keep doing the same thing over and over again, but at a certain point it's just not going to be enjoyable, even if the game is fun at first. Poor community management. This is kind of just like how to explain this. A lot of the stuff that happens between the league and player behavior, there's no like set structure for how to handle that, if that makes sense. So players like being racist or saying stuff that they shouldn't be saying, it all kind of gets handled differently, and that kind of depends on the mod or community official who handles it. And I know that I have a much different perspective than what some of the league managers and stuff were thinking, so that didn't help at all. But I think we need some clear structure if we want to bring this game back and have people enjoy it again. That's definitely the big part right there. V4 issues. So I know there's a lot of people who have a lot of strong feelings about V4, and most of those are negative. Personally, I liked it. But now looking back, I am realizing that a lot of the design decisions that I made probably not the best for um this game because it did change of a whole lot about the gameplay, specifically the traits and skills and stat systems. I think the idea of making the game more complex and adding more mechanics is a good thing. I just think limiting those mechanics and having it be like mechanics that only a few players can use and equip, like the traits. Not everyone's gonna have the same traits, and well, that's cool because it's like each player's different. I think each player should be different in the sense that they all play the game differently, have a different play style, and not something that's just like forced upon them by what traits they have access to. Um, so yeah, V4 definitely a miss. So we're working backwards from there. Next point, Rec Room is dying. This is kind of just obvious. If you look at the Steam charts, the Steam chart is just like a straight. Ooh, oh shoot, that's the wrong pen. It's just like it goes up and then we're just going down, and it's not good for Rec Room, and that's also not good for PSO because PSO is built on Rec Room. So that definitely contributed to the death of PSO. And then finally, I shut the game down because I didn't want people to keep playing it and then asking me to do stuff like to fix whatever was broken with it. And I was just ready to be done with the game and move on with life. Because I also didn't have a whole lot of time to work on the game. And it was just not fun to be a part of PSO at that time. So that's all the reasons that the PSO's been dead. So next point, is PSO coming back? Yes. If you guys haven't seen in the past, I think it was a week ago actually, we brought V3 back and just completely sidestepped V4. We just took a step back because V4 is a miss. We all get that. So yeah, PSO release plan. Yeah, we're gonna have a new league starting up soon that is gonna be run by Azam. We'll get into the whole like league manager and staff stuff at the end of this. But just for now, V3's back. It's the exact same version we left off on. And I know that there's been some issues with FPS drops and lag, all that kind of stuff. I definitely plan on releasing bug fixes for that, but my main focus is going to be working on the next update, aka V5. So just be aware that there will be fixes coming, but not a whole lot of new content or maybe as much as you guys are hoping for. So just be aware. So next update, V5. Obviously, we're kind of going from V1, V2, V3, V4 back to V3, and then skipping over V4 to jump into V5. Good news about V5, we're using the Rooms 2.0 framework, so this should be a lot smoother, a lot better physics actually. Room 2.0 gives a lot more customization, and we're gonna see that with some of the mechanics and stuff we're changing. So yeah, V4 is step in the wrong direction. Current V3 is old and lacking a lot of content. Yep. So what's V5 all about? The general direction I want to go with V5 is make the public game more fun again. I think the league has always been in a good spot for player engagement and competitiveness. I think the biggest issue with PSO is that it's not fun to log on each day and go play a couple games in publics. And the main reason for that is that the publics were usually pretty dead, and there's also not much of an incentive. And also, playing with random sucks and is terrible. So we're going to be doing a couple changes to make the publics better, if that makes sense. And then I wanted one thing to add in right now. I want to change how the update cycle works. I know that I've said in the past, like, I don't want to do just big updates. I want to have smaller updates, and that was true definitely at the start of PSO. And then as like these V2 and V3, V4 updates came out, kind of stopped doing it. Everything kind of just got put towards these big updates and version changes. I don't think that's the best direction for the game. I think there should be consistent like monthly updates, maybe in like I'm thinking at least like one like version 5.1.2 update a month probably, and then maybe like balance changes every week because balance changes and bug fixes should be pretty easy to implement. And that would just stop like unfair things from being in the game. Just keep things balanced, obviously. So that's the direction. No more of these like once like I don't know how to explain this. We're just gonna have more smaller updates rather than just big releases. So first thing for V5, we're having 5v5. I know the game's kind of been growing. Originally, we started with 3v3, then we went to 5v5, all in V1. V3 was 6v6, and then 7v7 was V4, but V4 was obviously a miss, so we're not doing that. I think the bigger team sizes, it's a good idea on paper. Like it's cause it's closer to real soccer and football. It sounds better, but in practice, I don't think it's as fun when you have 14 people all going after one ball. At least in my experience, it led to a lot of people just kind of standing around and waiting, and you don't really have a whole lot of time to impact the game. Like the matches are only 10 minutes, and when there's 14 people all wanting the ball, not everyone's gonna get it for a good amount of time. And then the biggest issue definitely lag. The more people that we have in the game, the more it's gonna lag. That's just kind of a given. So having 14 players, yeah, hitbox detection worse. The reach was got really bad, a lot of lag. And the way that Rec Room works is if your room capacity is under, I think it is 14, you get more CPU and network connection. Like you can run more circuits more easily. So if you have more players, you're gonna get less of these, and that just kind of hurts the game performance. So ideally, the less amount of players we can have in the room, the game will run a lot better. So that's kind of like the big motive here. But definitely the gameplay too. Uh, yeah, larger teams require a larger field, putting more strain on processing. When the field is so big, you kind of need a bigger stadium to surround that, and that kind of like makes rendering worse. I know there's been a setting to turn off the stadium, and that's what players like to do, but I still think that like when you turn off the stadium, the game definitely feels a lot weirder. I think it's cooler to have it there. So having a smaller field also allows us to have a better stadium. Okay, yeah. Well, having larger teams means more strategic options for formations and tactics. This is the big part. The individuality of each player matters less and less. When you have a team of seven compared to a team of five, the amount that you as a player impacts your team is a lot less. I know it's only a two-player difference, but it is vastly different. Looking at V1 5v5 games playing in that era compared to 4v4, I mean V4, it is night and day. Like in V1, basically everyone's position mattered a lot because you have a goalie and you have four players to move this ball around and get to the other side of the field. So having less players makes everyone have a bigger impact on the game, and they also get more time with the ball, which means more impact, obviously. So yeah, less players means individuality goes up, and I think that's better for the game, more enjoyable for each player. Okay. Uh, yeah, there's gonna be less formation options with more space to operate. Yeah, the big thing is I just want each player to be able to enjoy the game and not have to like just rely on their team. I think each player should be able to make or break their team. Like if you have a really good player, they should be the star of your team. And then if you have some really bad ones, then like your team's obviously gonna be terrible. So yeah, just bigger impact from each player. That's why we're moving to 5v5. Mechanics. This is what I'm excited for V5. I liked PSO when it was like super simple, and I feel like it's just remained so stagnant and simple. There hasn't really been any new things to try out aside from, I mean, V3 we tried the different sticks and that's pretty good. I'd say that was definitely the best course of action. And then V4 was just too much with all the traits, skills, and stats. I think that's too much and that's the wrong way to handle it. Keep in mind all these new control ideas are just ideas. So, right off the bat, if this is gonna be a big difference in V5, um, we're getting rid of the whole like sprint system from V4. We don't need that. We don't need stamina. Who cares about that? But pressing that your sprint button or it's shift on keyboard. I don't know what it is for your controller players. You're gonna be able to toggle between regular controls and stance. I don't know why I called it stance. That's just what it is. But basically, um, normally you have your shoot, which is just regular V. I think it's gonna be like more like the V4 shooting system. That's perfectly normal. You can curve the ball with that. Then you have your pass or your left stick. This is gonna be a mix of like um not the OG dribble stick, but the OG dribble stick, if you guys know that. And yeah, sprint input, that's how you toggle it. Slide input, that is going to be your standard Rec Room slide tackle. That's like built into Rec Room that you do in every game. This is the one that people like to spam. Very annoying, but it's whatever. Jump input, obviously jump. So then when you press your sprint input, shift on keyboard, whatever is on controllers, you're gonna get these controls. And this can either be like a toggle or you like hold down the button, it'll be a setting. So let's just say you press it and then you activate these controls. Your right stick is gonna go to your dribble move. I might change the order of these around, but just for now, you're gonna have a dribble move. We're gonna get into that later. Just know that there's gonna be a dribble move, okay? Left stick is kick up. This is just like juggle stick from V3. Everyone knows that. You press your sprint input well in this, you're gonna go back to your regular controls. And then this is what I like. When you're in your stance and you do your slide input, you can do a standing tackle. With I guess we're just gonna leave it at that. We're gonna get into each of these more later. And then while you're in stance, you use your jump input. This is gonna be your dive for goalies. It's not gonna be just like the dive stick. It's gonna be the same idea, just the physics of it are gonna be changed around a little bit. So yeah, toggle stance. This is your sprint input. Holding this, holding the sprint input, or just pressing at the toggle in between. That's going to change your controls. Pretty simple. This is something I was thinking of adding, the quick kick. This is like in rematch where before the ball actually gets to your player, you can press your shoot button and kind of hold it down and apply the curve. And then once the ball gets actually close enough, you'll kind of snap to it and actually shoot it. I thought this would be cool for PSO. I just don't think that it would really work that well in Rec Room, and I don't think it would be that useful. I think the catching and shooting system is fine as it is. I don't think anyone's ever complained about that. One thing I forgot to mention for V5, a lot of these ideas are influenced by a rematch, so that's you can kind of see that with how these controls work, just so you're aware. All right, your shooting input, right stick, regular moves, most powerful kick used for shooting and long range passes. So the change with this, it's not the exact same as V3. Um, how do I explain this? Your power bar, yeah, I'll just sketch this up for you guys. All right, so normally you have your power bar like this. and then you hold your stick, and it fills up, and then you release, and wherever your power's at, that's how hard it kicks the ball. Obviously, for the shooting mechanic, a lot of it is used. People mostly, I guess, before in V3 there's only one option, but it was used for like short range passes, and I want to differentiate how all these controls are used. So I want this to only be used for shooting or these long range passes. So basically, imagine that your bar just got like cut to like right here. So now with your shooting power, it's gonna start right here and then just go up. So you're not gonna be able to make these super short, quick passes with each other with this shooting stick. And then this, because this one can curve the ball. So then your passing stick, which is gonna be your left stick in regular controls, this has a lower minimum power and a lower maximum power. So I just deleted the bar, but we'll go like this. Imagine our shooting stick has this. All of this is, you can't use this. You have to have a good amount of power to shoot the ball. And your passing stick is going to be more like this, if that makes sense. So all this you can charge up, all this you can charge up here. Now, why am I doing this? I want to split the passing and shooting controls because I want to kind of do away with these super long balls across the whole field. I don't think it's healthy for the game. We saw this a lot in V3. Um, Players cherry picking and being offsides and just lobbing the ball to them and then they just get like a free shot. And well, yeah, that's kind of the fault of the defenders. I just don't think it's like something that they should have to worry about because it doesn't really make sense to be able to just hoof the ball across the entire field from goalie to goalie. So we're kind of doing away with that by making passing separate. Um, so the stick will, instead of it kicking to where you're looking at, like the shooting stick, this kicks in the direction you're going to. So you could pass behind you, you could pass to the side of you. I think that's a lot more useful. And then you cannot curve the ball with this because it's just meant for those like short chip pass or not chips, but just quick little, slide the ball to your teammate. Changes to the curve system. Just like in V4, getting rid of the double curve and delayed curve because these are just super unrealistic. And I don't think it's not it's cool to use as an attacker, but as a goalie or defender, it just makes the ball way too unpredictable, and it doesn't really make sense to have that in the game. It just seems unfair to have the ball like you already see it going one way, and then halfway through the shooting time, it just changes direction on you. I don't think that's fair for anyone. Uh, yeah, you can still change how hard you want to curve the ball depending on how far you turn your player. That's just a given. All right, so your slide tackle. It's going to be a little bit different, but it's the same slide as V1 and V2. I believe V3 as well. You press your slide button, you do the little slide tackle animation where your player crouches down or whatever. But here's the change. When you successfully perform a slide tackle on a player that has the ball, so you hit him with your tackle, uh, it gives after you tackle them, you're going to get possession of the ball. This is how it's always worked. It's not going to kick it away from them or anything. You just get possession, and then it's also going to stun, air quotes on stun, the the attacker. I mean, the person who had the ball or whatever. They're going to get like they're not going to be able to move for like half a second. They're not going to be able to take the ball back. So after you tackle someone, you can kind of get away from them. And then if you go for a tackle and you don't hit the player, you're going to get the stun instead. Because this is going to create like a risk and reward system using the slide tackle. So that way you can't just try slide tackle someone, miss, and then as they're running away, you slide tackle them back from behind. That just doesn't make any sense. It should be like if you miss a tackle, then you just got burned and you're terrible. Quit the game. So yeah, that's the change to the slide tackle. It's gonna work the same. There is gonna be a short cooldown, so you can't spam it, obviously. But yeah, just be aware of that. It's gonna be a risk reward tackle. Jump input. You jump, yeah. So here's the dribble move that I kind of briefly talked about. When you are in your stance, so this one right here, and you use your right stick, I might change how this works. When you use your dribble move, you're gonna perform like a quick sidestep in the direction you're moving. So you could do this move backwards, forwards, to the side, whatever. It's just a quick little step to juke defenders. So this is kind of like a bait for the slide tackle. If someone goes for the tackle, then you can quickly do this move and get away, unless you're really terrible and like mess up your move. It's gonna have a short cooldown to prevent spamming, so you can't just like use it to quickly get across the field. It's not going to be very fast. It's not going to send you very far. It's like just like a super short range, like half a meter quick move. Yeah, and you can only use this when you have possession, so that way you can't like be sprinting up the field and spamming this to go quicker. And then when you're in stance and you use your left stick, that's gonna be your kick up. It's just juggle stick from V3. Everyone knows how that works. I like this a lot. I think it adds a lot of versatility because it helps you get around defenders if you're tricky like that and you're cool. Obviously, we have the Jack Paco flick, infamous. And then another thing is we're gonna be setting up midair shots with this, which is something I will get into later. But this might be coming in V5. This might be an update for later, but I think you guys are gonna like that change a lot. And then when you're in stance and you do your tackle, it's gonna be a standing tackle. So this will not like make you crouch down and slide super far. This is kind of like the dribble move. It's a short range move that you can use to knock the ball off someone. So when you successfully hit someone who has the ball, it's going to make them lose possession, but you're not going to get possession. It's going to kick the ball away from both of you. But when you do tackle someone, it's going to give them that same stun effect. So they're not going to be able to move. But once you hit them, then you can go chase down the ball. This is a lot more for like less committive defense moves. Instead of just going for this risky full tackle to steal the ball off someone, if you're like close to them and you're not sure, you can just do a couple of these and try to just poke them out. So yeah, if you do miss one of these, you're gonna have a much shorter stun than the slide tackle. This is just to keep it balanced because obviously you can't just spam this to keep tackling someone. Like if you keep missing, you can't just spam it to get them back. If you miss, you're gonna have a short punishment, and that gives opportunity for the attackers to get around you. And then for goalies, when you're in stance, you do your dive. It is very similar to the dive stick. It is gonna have less range, but it's gonna be snappier, if that makes sense. Um, you'll see what I mean in game, but it's gonna be a lot quicker, quick little move. And then if you do dive and you don't catch the ball, you're gonna be slightly stunned. This is gonna be like a little punishment for just getting too cocky, going for a nice curve shot and you just whiff. You're gonna get punished for that. So you gotta be good to use this. So that's a lot of the mechanic. That's like the mechanical changes I want to have for V5. I'm thinking of changing this dribble move thing to be. I think having it on your stick would be confusing. So I'm thinking of having it like this, where if you are in your stance and you press your slide, when you don't have the ball, you're gonna do like a short standing tackle, and then when you do have the ball, it'll do this dribble move. Because obviously, if you have the ball, you're not gonna want to do a tackle, and this gives us like another like right stick to use. And we could just put the shoot here again, so that way if like you accidentally use your stance, or if you're actually like in your stance mode and you still want to shoot, you can. But I don't know. This just gives us another option for a different input we could have here. But yeah, those are the mechanics. I want to know what you guys think of this. I think these are a lot of good. Oh wait, one more I want to mention real quick. I didn't write this one down, but in the PSO Discord, just yesterday I did put this poll out for, yeah, I have a way to remove reach. It looks like a lot of people want to go for it, and I will explain what that is now. So, ever since the original PSO, way back in when it was called Indoor Soccer 3v3 or whatever, the game has been someone has the ball, you walk up to them or they walk into you, then you take the ball off them. Now, what this can lead to is where with reach, which I will explain in a bit because I want people to know this, it can lead to people taking the ball from like what looks like it's behind you or it's like way not where you were. And this is like a big issue. So how can we remove this? Well, we get rid of just taking the ball off people by walking up to them. And this is a big change, right? Because this means that people could just like walk right next to you with the ball and you're not going to get it. So the only way to get the ball from someone or get the ball off them would to be use your slide tackles. So I want to know what people think of this change or this idea. I think it could work. I can see this working really well, but I can see people getting frustrated like, dude, he just walked right through me. I didn't get the ball. Which I get it because that's how PSO has always worked, but I think this would be a good change, and I think it would fix a lot of the reach issues. So let me know what you guys think of that. You can just drop it in like the update discussion channel. I might make a post about it or something for you guys to reply to. But that's like the change I want to make to kind of fix reach or circumvent it. What else I want to explain? Um, I think I'm gonna make a separate video, like a little short 3-minute video explaining reach and how it works. I don't want to do that in this video because this is more just like me talking about what I think of the game and stuff. So I'll work on that today and post that later. All right, we're gonna move on from mechanics and we're gonna focus on gameplay for V5. So since 5v5 is gonna be the main format, we're obviously gonna have a smaller field. Yeah, much smaller than V4 obviously, but I don't want it to be like super confined. I think V1 was a little too big for 5v5 if I remember correctly. Some of you might disagree with that, but I think so because also what I want to do is I want to decrease the overall kicking power just in general because like I said before, I want to decrease these long balls across the entire field. I want people to have to make chains of passes and actually dribble around people to score a goal and not just lob it to your striker and have them shoot from point blank. So people might disagree with this, but I think it's generally a lot better for the game as long as like the shooting power is as long as the shot power is still capable of scoring like a good goal from a relatively far out distance. I don't think it's gonna be much of an issue. It's just to stop these long balls. Out of bounds. This one is a maybe. I think if we do go to 5v5, I don't think out of bounds, like throw-ins and corner kicks would work that well. I am open to feedback on this, definitely. In my mind, I just don't see it working. I think the game works a lot better in 5v5 when you can shoot it off the walls and not have to worry about it going out of bounds. It just creates a lot less pressure, and you don't have that many players to go take a throw-in and whatnot. But let me know what you guys think of this. Offsides. V4 had offsides. We're not gonna be doing that anymore. If we do go to 5v5, offsides just does not make sense, and we don't need it. So yeah, I think people are okay with this. I know people wanted offsides, if I remember correctly. I actually don't remember, but I could have sworn that people were like asking for offsides, and then people hated it in V4, and I don't like it either, especially with 5v5. So we're just getting rid of offsides. Goal kicks. I liked the goal kick system a lot in V4 because one thing I really don't like about PSO is when the goalie makes a save, the attackers will kind of just like jump on the goalie and try to like just force the ball in. I think it should be like you take a shot or the goalie saves something. You shouldn't just be able to like attack the goalie after that. They should have time to clear the ball out because it's kind of like you messed up your attempt. You don't get to try again, you know. So yeah, goal kicks. Uh, Instead of like putting a timer on and kicking everyone out of the box, the goalies are just gonna have total priority over the ball once they make a save for like 3 seconds about. I think that's probably a good time. That'll change depending on balancing. But yeah, once the goalie catches the ball, no one can take it off of them, even if they slide tackle and whatnot. You can't hit the ball off someone. Or off the goalie, I mean. So that means they have time to shoot it or pass it out. And they can go anywhere within the box. If they step out of the box, they drop the ball. And at the end of the timer, they do drop the ball. One thing I just wanted to mention as well, with the this change I was talking about here, where the only way to get the ball off someone is to tackle them. This doesn't apply to like if the ball is rolling or if it's like mid-air. You can still grab that and get possession. You don't have to tackle the ball if no one has it. That's kind of a given, but I just don't want people to assume like you have to slide into the ball to get it. If someone shoots it and you block it, you get the ball. Okay, that's just how it is. Kickoff. V4 had these kickoffs. For some reason, they didn't work very well, but I like the system a lot. Rather than just like spawning the ball in the middle and having people run at it. So yeah, I don't. In public lobbies, it'll probably be like a 50-50 coin flip, depending on for which team gets to start with the ball. In league, I think it'd be cooler if the home team got to start with the ball. I think that'd be nice. Or we can just do coin flip, whatever you guys want. Just give me feedback on this. And then after each goal, there's gonna be another kickoff for the defending team or the team that got scored on. I think that just works a lot better than spawning it like to the goalie or whatever. If you guys don't like that, let me know. But I like the kickoff system, so that's kind of what I want to do. All right, some of these other changes, not really the mostly gameplay affecting, but just things I want to change. Joining mid game. I guess I didn't really explain this very well. For V5, I want to have a bigger focus on the rank system. So a lot of these changes are gonna be based around the rank system because I think ranked is a great way to get people more into the game and engage with it and want to play it. So that's what a lot of these changes are going to be. So yeah, if you join a match and 30% of it has already been played, so if it's a 10-minute game and you're already 3 minutes into it, you're just gonna be a spectator who can kind of like fly around. You won't be able to like fly into the match and affect it or whatever, but you can just kind of like be a spectator and observe. If you join within the first 30% of the game, then you'll be a player, you'll be subbed in, whatnot. Start conditions. A public match will only start when there are 10 players in the lobby, or 6 for 3v3. This is I'm implementing like a matchmaking system for ranked to give balanced teams, and if there's only like 7 players or 9 players or 8 players, it just won't work because it'll be unbalanced teams. So you're gonna have to have 10 players in a lobby to start it, which this might be a miss. So we might have to find a workaround for this. I'm gonna put a question mark on that, but in general, this is kind of the direction I want to go. Match time. This is also iffy. I've been thinking about this. I want to change it to 7 minutes and first to 5 goals. Because I think how do I explain this? Well, we have options here. We can either keep it 10 minutes and 10 goals, which is fine. There wasn't an issue with it. I just think quicker matches and more matches played would be better and better for the players and better for the rank system. So we could do 7 minutes and first to 5 goals, or we could just do first to 5 goals and then no timer. But that might be worse because then games might just go on forever if no one can score. So I think 7 minutes and first to 5 goals is best. So yeah, after a match ends, it'll be 45 seconds before matchmaking starts. This is just and then 15 seconds for the matchmaking. This is just to keep the matches going. You don't have to like wait for someone to start it. If you're in a public lobby, it's gonna keep playing matches. Another thing I just remember I wanted to change was like how do I explain this? The longer that you're in a room in rec room, the more it kind of, for lack of better phrase, it kind of goes to shit. Everything kind of just starts to break and not work. So I think I don't know what a good number would be. Let's just say like after 10 matches played, it just kicks everyone out and sends them back to the lobby. So then they have to reopen a new like a fresh new instance to play more matches. I think this would help a lot with lag and reach. I think 10 matches might be too much. Maybe after like 5 games played in one room, it goes to a new one. And there will be like a tracker thing to show you how many matches have been played in that room and how long it's been open. So yeah, in-game bans. This is something I wanted to do for a while. This is mostly for the rank system, but also has an effect on league, or for like league players. So if you get banned in PSL, this isn't like the rec room like room ban that moderators press. This would be like, I guess we'll explain it here. Here. Never mind. It's in this one. A ban can have any duration and will prevent the player from playing matches. This is public or private, so you'll be able to join the PSO room and go to the lobby. You just won't be able to go into public or private lobbies to play the game. And if you like get invited by a friend and join it while banned, it'll just kick you back to the lobby. So yeah. Hey, let's say you get banned for a day, which is it's a long time, but it could happen. The ban won't start until you actually join the room. So you have to go into the room, start your ban, and then you can leave and go do whatever else. But you just yeah. This is just we have to load the timer. We can't just ban a player and start their timer without them actually being in the room. So yeah. Players leaving. This is just for ranked to keep ranked fair. If players, so yeah, if you leave a game 1 to 3 times, or like if you leave a game, the first time you leave a game to the third time you leave a game, you're gonna lose rank points, and after that, it's gonna start giving you bans, which will ramp up. And then after you complete a full match, one of these bans are gonna be removed from your record. So these will kind of like, let's say you just keep like leaving a game, like you leave 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, you get a ban, and then you finally complete a game. This one's gonna be knocked off, and the next time you leave, let's say then you leave a game again, then you're gonna get your 4th leave again, and you're gonna get banned again for 5 minutes. So yeah, that's that. Get rid of all these. All right, what next? Auto end. To keep ranked fair, if a team has like less than 4 players, like 2 players leave, it's just gonna end the game, and the like winning and losing will depend on how long the game has been played. I don't have exact numbers for this, but this is just like No one wants to play a 2v5 and then lose ranked points for that, because that's just not fair. So, yeah, that'll be that. All right, changes to the rank system. Yeah, main focus, increased player engagement. Yeah, ranked will be heavily focused in V5. Public lobbies will all be ranked, so you can't play a game in public and just not lose or gain rank points. So yeah, private lobbies will not affect ranks, obviously, because then you can just manipulate it. And then we're gonna change some ranks. I'm calling the rank points PR for performance rating. This doesn't have to stick. If someone has a better idea, let me know. But we're just calling it PR. So yeah, we're keeping the same divisions. It's gonna be bronze to champions. I actually changed. I believe it went bronze, silver, gold, diamond, crystal champions. I changed the crystal one to be called elite. That was just a random idea. If that doesn't sound good, drop an idea and I'll change it. So yeah, you need 100 PR to rank up, and then you gain PR from winning and performing well. You lose PR for losing matches. That's kind of obvious. These numbers are all subject to change, but this is kind of just general. Winning, you're gonna get 15. Losing, you're gonna lose 20. And at first, this might sound like, what the heck? Why are we losing more rank for losing a game? That's because there's all these bonuses you can get. So if you lose and you don't get any of these bonuses, it means you're terrible and you don't deserve your rank, and you should probably quit the game. So yeah, if you score a goal in the game, you're gonna get 5 PR. This doesn't stack. So if you score 2 goals, you're not gonna get 10. It's just as long as you score a goal, you get 5. If you make an assist, same as the goals. It doesn't matter if you get multiple assists. It's just, as long as you get an assist, you're gonna get +5. If you get a hat trick, 3 goals scored, you get +5. So these do stack as well. So if you get this is like as long as you get 1 goal, you're getting +5. This is as long as you get 3 goals, you're also getting +5. So you could get if you get a hat trick, you're actually getting +10. Same for the assists. If you get 3+ assists, you're gonna get +10 because you're gonna get both of these. And then if you get 10 or more passes, you're gonna get +5. If you get 5 more tackles, you can get +5. 5 more saves, you can get +5. I might change the goalie one to be like 10 plus saves equals +5 as well. Just there's like goalies get more rewards too, because goalies aren't gonna be scoring. Oh my god, holy voice crack. Goalies aren't gonna be scoring or making assists. So yeah, or tackles, I guess. Rank season. Every 3 months, all players' ranks will be reset or reduced in some way. I don't really want to set everyone back to 0 and be bronze 1, but maybe like you go down like 2 or 3 divisions and you have to grind back up. This just makes it so you have something to play for, and it would be kind of cool because then we have like the winter, spring, summer seasons for each year, and we can have like new rewards for that, like a snowball or snow globe ball skin or something, like a flower jersey pattern, all this kind of cool. There's ideas we can make here. So yeah, ranked seasons. I think it's just a good idea. Most or every game that has a rank system does this, so I think it'll work out. And then to give players a reason to rank up, I'm adding these ranked rewards. This is just complete pulled out of my ass, just random ideas. So don't pay much attention to this. But the idea is like the higher rank you get, the better rewards. And what let's say like you're gold 2, you hit gold 3, you get your 600 medals, and then you rank down to gold 2, and you rank back up, you're not gonna get 600 more medals. Once you get these rewards, they're done for the season. You have to wait for the season reset to get new rewards. But yeah. And then what you'll see here is like these like ×1 tier 2 reward boxes. I really like the reward box system from V4, so I'm kind of expanding on that and making the boxes. There's gonna be 3 different type of boxes: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and we'll get into that later. Matchmaking. So I think this might have been all the way back in V1. Back when you had to like click on the board and it would like show you your rank and your name on your position that you chose. And it would show you like your team rank, which is the cumulative score of all the players divided by however many players there are. So the average rank of the team. Kind of bringing that system back to where it'll calculate the total lobby like average rank, and then it'll take half of that, and it'll try to make a team with the same score as that number. If this makes any sense, basically it's just balancing the teams based on everyone's rank and trying to balance the teams out to be even. That's that. And then preferred position. This one I don't know if it would work that well, but the idea is that for 5v5 there's only so many positions on the board, right? We have this guy, this guy. So this is like the board where you choose your positions. And there's like left wing, right back, left back. We're kind of grouping these together and grouping these together, and then goalie's its own thing. So you'd have like your winger, you'd have your defense or back, and then you have your goalie, and you can kind of like sort these on like a UI screen. So then you could be like, okay, I definitely want to play defense, so I'm gonna put like right back, left back, and then I probably want to be goalie instead of being an attacker, so I'll sort it like this, and then like the matchmaking will try to like sort players based on what position they want to play. It won't always work out. Like maybe there's like 6 players that want to be defenders, and that's just too much. So then you're gonna get stuck as goalie. But it kind of just gives players an option to choose what they want to play. I guess what else it could do is just I don't know if it would be as fair, but it would just like sort the teams. So you have who and whatnot, like these 5 guys versus these 5 guys, and then you can just pick your position for that team. Like if you're on this side, you can't choose any of these. That's probably a better idea. It'd definitely be simpler. So I might just do that instead, but let me know what you guys think of that. Okay, cosmetic changes. A lot of it is the same as V4. I think V4 had a good like store and reward system. So yeah, we have our basic cosmetics. We have bald skins, trails, scoring effects, messages, titles, jersey patterns. Rarity prices, they're all the same. Every item is gonna have a rarity. You guys have seen that already in the stores and stuff. Reward box changes. They're gonna be tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. Um, the higher the tier, the better the reward. You're gonna get kind of obvious. Tier 3 is like you're basically guaranteed a legendary item, like legendary and epic tiers. Tier 1 is like you're gonna get like a common or uncommon every time. So that's kind of self-explanatory. Daily rewards, we had this in V4 a little bit, but I'm kind of changing it up. Each day you're gonna be able to get 3 reward boxes. They're all gonna be tier 1. I might change this. Maybe like on weekends we'll do like tier 2 boxes or something just to spice it up to get people to play. But yeah, you get a box after winning a public match. So if you win 3 games in a row, boom, you got your reward boxes. If you keep losing because you suck, tough luck, buddy. That's kind of all the ideas for the V5 I want to mention. There's one more thing. I'm thinking of like in private games. I know people like the old ref rooms and stuff. I know people like those. So I'm thinking for privates, it creates like a second UI screen for the lobby leader or room host. And that screen allows them to customize the game. So they could change like the match timer. They could choose if they want like throw-ins and stuff like out of bounds, or if they want walls. They could change like how many goals need to be scored to win. I think this would be really useful for like for just refing and then hosting like cool private matches and stuff. Like it'd be good for friendlies too. But yeah. All right. We already went over cosmetics. So the new league. Um, I was gonna do this stupid election thing, and I wrote this at like 10 p.m. when I was like super tired. Or not 10 p.m. This is like 1 a.m. I don't like this idea at all. It doesn't make any sense. But new league, TLDR. I'm not gonna be hosting the league anymore. We're gonna have one LM or league manager. In V3, since we were sponsored, we had like 3 managers, but I was still kind of like the head manager. It wasn't really an equal spread. But to separate this, I guess I'll draw it up later, but I'm gonna show you guys a hierarchy. Basically the LM is gonna be doing everything that I was doing for the league, but so they're like a Eat Cake 2.0 kind of role. So yeah, what am I gonna? This still says hollow. Sorry. I'm just gonna be working on the game and updates. I'm kind of separating the league from my work, if that makes any sense. But I'll show you guys what I mean. Obviously, I'll be there to help if people are struggling and they need like a general gist of what to do. I'll throw my 2 cents in the ring, okay? I'll throw my hat in the ring every once in a while, all right? Yeah. But the LM is gonna be the one running the league. This is like everything the LM is gonna be doing. Pretty self-explanatory. Staff changes. The league officials are now gonna be like a mix of the old league officials with like the season 3 LMs. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the league officials basically just help the league manager with whatever they need. They give feedback and whatnot, and they also like they work with scheduling the matches and finding refs and like making calls on like glitch goals and stuff. And then we have refs. This depends on whatever the league manager wants refs to do, and then just listen to the LOs. Host the matches, make rules. Community official and mod the trial mods. This is all the exact same stuff. I just kind of like I don't know. Don't This is the exact same as how it was before. But I'm gonna draw out the hierarchy for how I want this to work. So basically, here we have our league manager. They are going to be in control of, yeah, we got a league official. And then we got our community official right here. I kind of changed the colors around, but that's okay. Community official, they are going to be in control of our mods and our trial mods. Notice how mods are not directly in control of trial mods. They're kind of just there to like guide the trial mods and help them. But the CO is still up to hiring these guys and hiring mods and then also promoting trial mods. And then league officials, these guys are in charge of the refs. So yeah. And then I'll make myself red. Over here, this is the dev, aka me, aka Eat Cake. I'm just working on the game. And then I'll kind of like pitch ideas or like explain stuff to the league manager, which is gonna be a Zam for season 4. So that's the idea of that. Uh I think that's everything I wanted to talk about for this video. This has been going on for like 45 minutes, so yeah. That's basically everything for this report. If you guys have any questions or want to drop feedback, just ping me in the Discord or message me and I'll get back to you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoy season 4 of PSO and the V5 update. So, love you guys. Adios.